Okay, welcome. I'm excited to be here. I'm moving the time from 4 to 3. So we'll see if it can stay at that time. But for right now, 3 o'clock is the big time that I'm able to get on here and not miss it. So I'm glad to be back here today. And I've been seeing so much about midlife and midlife crisis, and that's because there are so many people who are hitting midlife right now between 40 and 65. And it's time to really dissect it a little bit. And most people will think they're in a midlife crisis, but I have some really good tips for everybody. In fact, I have 100 things that you can do that can help you to, you know, feel like a midlife crisis isn't a midlife crisis. And so I'm an applied developmental psychologist. My name is Deborah Heiser. I am the author of The Mentorship Edge, and I've been working in the field of midlife and aging and research since the 1990s. So it's been a long time. So I really am sort of well versed in this area since long before I reached midlife. And now that I'm in midlife, I'm able to speak about it. I don't think that I think that everything's been accurate in how it's been looked at from the perspective of my research, but now I can talk about it and how I feel about it. But that said, let's dig into 100 ideas that somebody can try if they feel like they are in a midlife crisis. Nice to see you back, Nellie. Good to see you here. So, there can be all kinds of things like a mix of emotional feelings. A person can feel like they're not maybe making the right rational decisions or feeling like they're making good legacy actions. But let's go ahead and think of some solutions to some of this because really what we want to do is flip the switch on how we might be feeling. And anytime you're feeling in a crisis mode, you can flip that switch. So let's get ourselves grounded and get support. So, the first thing I'm going to say, the first tip is to book a first session with a therapist or a counselor who specializes in midlife transitions. So, um, thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm glad you're here. What I mean by that is that, book a session with somebody and make sure that they understand midlife, that they are somebody who specializes in that, because you want to make sure that somebody's going to understand where you're coming from. And there are people that do specialize it. I'm from the US, so welcome. I'm glad to see you here. So the next thing you can do, number two, is tell a trusted friend exactly how you're feeling instead of pretending that you're fine. I know so many people that just pretend everything is fine. They're great. People can tell they're not. Most people are not as opaque and mysterious as they think that they are. So if you can talk to a friend and tell them how you're feeling, you're probably going to find that person is going to feel like you do also. Number three, schedule a full physical with your primary care doctor to rule out any medical contributions. You could end up having things like thyroid issues, hormone issues, sleep issues. For women, this is when they want to really check into menopause, perimenopause. For men, they really want to check into their prostate. There are things that a person can really look into, and seeing a doctor is important. I know so many people that skip the doctor, and then, they might find out later, had they gone, they would have found something. It can also be that you find out that you're not feeling great. You might be feeling like you're in a crisis because you have low thyroid or high thyroid, or you're having some hormonal changes. So number four, start a simple daily mindfulness practice. They have a ton of these. You can go on YouTube and check them out. Easy to find if you don't know how to do one yourself. They have them as short as 3 minutes. I do them with my class at the end of the semester so they can prepare themselves for finals. But just grounding yourself is super important. And that is one of the things that if you do that, you can really help yourself out. It doesn't have to be anything big. You can just sit by yourself 3 to 5 minutes. Some people go longer, some people go up to an hour, but don't start expecting to do something really for a long time, just start small. Keep, this is number 5, keep a mood and energy log for 2 weeks. So, time escapes us, and sometimes we'll feel like we aren't as tired as we are or feeling out of it for as long as we are. And then we look and we see, wow, it's been a while. So, keep a mood and energy log if you can, just to notice patterns and what helps and what drains you. Because it might be that you're going through something that's actually legitimate and might be a cause for that. Um, so some people will be in finals. They might be, having a lot of people over for the holidays. There might be something that's causing it that's temporary. So keep a mood and energy log. That's super helpful. Create a support circle. List 5 people that you can text when you're feeling overwhelmed. Now, say you say to yourself, I don't have 5 people. Pick one. Pick one if that's what it is. Pick one person that you can text when you're feeling overwhelmed. So, what you can do is to make sure that you are texting at least one person. If you have 5 people, text them. It is what's going to happen is that's going to reset you. You're going to feel a little bit more grounded when you get to talk to people that you trust and feel comfortable around. Number 7, reduce doom scrolling by setting a 15 to 30-minute limit on news. So many people I know really get upset by the news, and they get taken in by it and they can't stop watching it, and it makes them feel more anxious or nervous. So if you're finding that this is a case, take time out of the day, even if it's 15 minutes, to just limit it so that you're not doing it at that time. That can help to reset you also. And I know that midlifers will really, go down the news channel path and have an issue with that. It can also happen on social media too. So 15 minutes away from it, doing something else. Number 8, join an online or local support group for midlife caregiving, empty nesters. This can be a menopause group. They even have prostate groups. So go into one of these groups. I went online. I didn't even know that they had groups for people, for men, for prostate, but they do. You can go on and find a national zip code finder that will find programs for you that you can join, and they're free. So these are things that I'm just learning about too. The navigation for midlife is changing right before our eyes. So that's something that's really important to notice. I'm seeing a comment here. Hold on a second. What if they're old school and hard-headed? Are you talking about friends that you would reach out to? If you're talking about, if we go back to, okay, so your dad. So you mean your dad won't join one, or your dad, is that what you're talking about? He wouldn't join a group? While I wait for Nellie to respond, one thing to note is that with this list that I'm giving of 100 things that you can do, you do not have to think that all of them are good. You can think most of them aren't good. Maybe most of them aren't for you, right? You just need one. Pick one out of this 100 that you could do. Maybe you'll find 10. So if you're saying that does not resonate, if one of these things doesn't, then go to another one that does. Let's see. He just won't admit that he needs help, but I can see, oh, you know what? We cannot change other people, but one thing that we can do is we can reach out. You can give him support without him asking for it. So you can check in on him, text him, call him and say, hey, I'm just checking in on you. So that takes the burden of him having to ask. You're kind of doing that for him. Is that going to change him? He has to want to change. We can't make a person change, but we can do the things that allow us to feel good about helping a person out in the right kind of way. So some of the things that you could do for your dad are, you could text him, you could phone him, you could say, how are you doing? You could even say, hey, have you joined a group? Would you like to join a group? You could even offer to go with him. But if he says no, I always say that we need to respect a person and go to where they are. We can't make them go farther than where they are. So being a support to somebody, even if somebody isn't giving us the feedback that we want, is sometimes incredibly valuable, because sometimes a person needs to be able to vent, or, you know, they just need to know you're there. Even if they're not giving you the exact response that you want, it can sometimes be much more helpful than you know. So keep at it, keep doing what you're doing. So, if you can also join an online or local support group, that's important. That's one of the things I just mentioned. Number 9, take one full day off from alcohol to see how your mood and sleep feels without it. That can go for, weed also, or any other thing that you might be using. Just take a day off from it and see how you feel. Sometimes people do that for the whole month of January. They'll, call it dry January, things like that. Sometimes during the holiday season, especially, we start to, drink alcohol much more than we normally would. And so just taking a day off from that, you might say, "Ooh, I feel a lot better." And that could be why. Number 10, choose one mental health app and try using it daily for a week. Now, that could be that you are doing some mindfulness meditation. They have those, it's 3 minutes. Just try it for 1 week. It could be that there are all kinds of apps that you can go to and see which one you like best. There are some for journaling. There's a million different mental health apps that you could use, and just try it for a week. A lot of them will give you a free trial period. So give it a shot. If you don't like it, try a different one. But that's something that you can do that's very easy. Also, when we're in midlife, it's a great time to reflect. It's a great time to journal. It's a great time to reframe. And the reason for that is because we can get stuck in our thinking and not see another way around it. And so if we can do things like number 11 is write a life timeline, marking major events and how they shaped you, then highlight moments of resilience. I had to do a tiny bit of this, which I'd like to tweak more, for something that I'm applying for an incubator, and I had to do a life timeline. I haven't done one of those in a long time. And you know what? Doing a lifetime really makes you reflect. And I was like, "Oh, I forgot I did those things. Oh, wow. I didn't remember that I overcame that, that kind of a thing." It is so helpful. We are all way more impactful than we ever would realize until you do a life timeline. So see if you can make one of those. Start from as early as you can remember and mark all the major events and how they shaped you. And then really highlight any moments of resilience. We all have those moments where we didn't do so well, but we landed on our feet. And remember that, because that's important. And Gen Xers or boomers are really resilient. Everybody else is too, but speaking from experience as a Gen Xer. So number 12, journal about this. I'm going to give you a question to ask. So ask yourself, what feels wrong right now? So my life, my expectations, both. What feels wrong right now? So is that your life? Is that your expectations? Is it both? And then write about that. So, we should not be focusing just on how we feel things are right. If we're feeling like we're in a crisis or something like that, we're feeling like we're in midlife crisis, writing about what feels wrong allows you to identify it, and then you can take little baby steps to feel like you're in control of that. So that's a big thing that can be done. So number 13, you can use 3 journal prompts each night about what brought you joy, what drained you, and what you're curious about. So focus on what made you happy. If you do this every night, what made you happy at the end of the day? Um, oh, I look like your 8th grade math teacher. That's cool. um, so, if you at the end of the day say, "What brought me joy today?" And then you say, "What drained you today?" That's gonna make you look at both things. And what are you curious about? What would you like for the future? What would you like tomorrow to look like? What are you curious about? Those kinds of things can be very helpful at the end of the night, especially before you're going to bed when you wanna sort of ground yourself. So, another thing that you can do, number 14, is list 10 things you once thought you wanted that you no longer care about. And notice how you have evolved. So I know so many people that hear, oh, this person I know, they decided to go on and get another degree. Um, Most people don't care about getting another degree, but it feels like there's FOMO if somebody else did it. So remind yourself of the things that you really don't want, but maybe you were thinking to yourself, oh, I want it just because you saw somebody else had it. There's a bazillion things that we all can say, oh, I see that person thriving with whatever it is that they have or excited about whatever they have. And you maybe wanted it. What maybe you don't care about it anymore. Maybe you can see how you evolved with that. Um, Number 15, write a letter to your younger self. Put yourself at an age much younger. What have you lived through and what have you learned? When you don't have to write it, think about it. But do that sort of thing. What would you tell your if you're in your 50s, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? If you're in your 20s, what would you say to your 10-year-old self that you would do differently or that you would do the same? Reflecting on that helps you to see where you made good decisions and good choices and where you were resilient and you got over some of the things that were really hard that you thought maybe you could never get over, but you did. Um, and then number 16, write a letter from your future self to your current self. Put yourself at 80 or 90 and write a letter to your current self about what truly matters going forward. So think to yourself, what is it that you're going to want when you're 80 or 90? And I can tell you, having worked with a lot of people at the end of life, they don't want stuff. The most important thing is feeling connected with others and feeling like they made impact and that they made a difference. And, feeling like it's all about the connections and the people in their lives. So write a letter from your 80-year-old self to your current self about what truly matters going forward. Number 17, make a values inventory by listing your top 5 values and rating how aligned your daily life is with each. If you say, I value sustainability, are you really behaving in a sustainable way? If you are, great, give yourself that win. If you're not, or you think you could be doing better, do that, engage in that. If you say, I am a person who loves my community and I'm community oriented. Well, what have you been doing? It really helps you when you do that to connect in a way that is aligned with how you really see yourself. When we're out of alignment, it really makes us feel chaotic. It makes us feel like we're in crisis because we're not grounded in what we really are believing in. Number 18, create a no more list of 5 habits, roles, or expectations you are done carrying. It is time to say no to a lot of stuff. I always say to people, we have to not just clean out our closets, we have to clean out the stuff that doesn't work for us. What habits do we have that just need to change? What roles are we taking on? Are we the yes person to everybody for everything? Say no more. Are the expectations that you put on yourself way too much? No more. So give yourself a no more list and list at least 5 things that you want no more of. And that's going to really lighten your load. Number 19, define one word for your next decade. Is it going to be health, freedom, connection, peace, family, whatever? And put it where you can see it daily so it reminds you that that's what you're looking forward to. And number 20, choose one limiting belief about midlife, like it's too late or that you can't do it anymore, and write 3 alternatives that are more accurate beliefs. I'll give you an example. I remember I was talking about somebody who was deciding she wanted to go and get a master's degree at 60 or 59. And she was saying, I think I'm too old. And people were telling her she was too old. Like, why would you do that? And I was saying, because she can. Like, why wouldn't she? But there is no too late in midlife. That's the time that you should do the things that you really enjoy and you want to do. So choose a limiting belief about midlife and write three alternatives that are more accurate beliefs. Like instead of it's too late, I have time because you do. And you can do these things because you can, because you want to. It isn't because you have to. When you're younger, you often feel you have to go get a degree because you have to, because you want to get a certain job. In midlife, you don't have to. You want to. You can. So let's move on now to caring for your body and energy. So number 21, add one new form of movement that you actually enjoy. Maybe that's walking. Maybe it's dancing, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's biking, maybe it's like sitting in your chair and doing exercise, whatever it is. Maybe it's pickleball. That's a super popular one. Whatever you decide, do one new thing. So, this is the time that people might go and join some kind of an exercise class, join a gym, just start maybe 5 minutes of walking in the morning to get yourself going. But just add one new form of movement that you really enjoy. Do not add one that you hate. That is never going to work. You're never going to want to keep doing it. So if you're just adding one, don't add it so that you're saying, I'm going to walk 5 miles. Make it so that you say, I'm going to walk 5 minutes, so that you can always add to that. Or if you do more, great, it's a win. But if you don't do the 5 miles, it feels like you lost. So cut yourself some slack from the beginning. Number 22, go to bed 30 minutes earlier for a week and track any changes in mood and focus. So I have like this watch, right? You can do this right on if you have a watch that tracks sleep. Some people have the Aura ring, other things. Thank you, G Lantern. Thank you. So if you can go and do just that, that's important. It really does help. So you can then see if there's something happening. Are you not sleeping enough? That happens all the time. I undersleep all the time and don't even realize it. I've been utilizing this to see if I'm keeping track of my sleep. And when I'm not, I can really do something to make me feel better. Do a 2-week hydration challenge where you intentionally drink more water every day. I have this next to me. I have had different waters. I have had a different bottle of water next to me every day to inspire me to drink more. Everybody I know does not drink enough because it's easy to forget. You walk out the door, you don't have any water with you. Your water bottle is empty, you don't refill it. So I have one of these next to me. I've had my own personal water bottle that I refill next to me, especially when I go outside somewhere. Iced tea, I think I would count any beverage, but if it has caffeine, it's going to dehydrate you. So maybe water it down, right? Add a half a glass of iced tea and a half a glass of water to it. Make it watered down if you can. If you like juice, water it down. Or get a decaf iced tea. They have decaf iced teas. But it's the hydration that you can even see it in your face and in your hands. When you are not hydrated, you look different. I know when I'm not, I look really, like, you can tell. And so if you can stay hydrated, it's super helpful. Also to your health, obviously. So another thing you can do, number 24, is try one strength training session per week to support long-term health and confidence. So you do not have to go to the gym to do this. You can do things that are in your own home that are strength training. You can do push-ups. You can do other things like squats or things like that are going to help you. But just try one of those things. You can even go on like YouTube and find a 10-minute exercise that you can do. I know a lot of people were doing that during COVID, during lockdown. Those still exist. Most people just dropped them, but they still exist and you can find them. Number 25, plan one tech-free walk outside each day without headphones, just noticing your environment. So I don't know about you, but I love to have my devices with me when I walk. I feel like I'm multitasking. I feel like I'm getting in, a book on tape or a podcast, or I call people or something, right? But I also noticed that I did that. I took it away and I walked and I thought, "Ooh, I'm gonna feel like I'm missing out on something." But I actually looked around and I was like, "Wow, it's nice. It's nice out." So you might find that you'll actually enjoy it. So maybe just walk around the block, something like that, or take a very short walk to get yourself so that you are tech free for a little bit and then go back to it. You can loop back and put on your tech. Um, Number 26, experiment with one small nutrition change. So I can't tell you how many people that I know who say, I'm going to cut out all carbs, all sugar, all everything. And then they do it for 3 days and they're back to eating what they did because it's an impossible task to do that. So why don't you do things like have more vegetables? You could add more of something that you like because then you're going to eat less of the other stuff. Less added sugar. If you're drinking a lot of iced tea that's sweetened, water it down. If you need it to be sugary, water it down. Like, don't deny yourself stuff. But do something that's doable. Like the deprivation, the really intense deprivation that a lot of people do is so hard to keep up. And so then it makes you feel like a loss. But if you're able to do something that's small that feels like a win, you're going to do it more. Number 27, schedule a check-in with a sleep specialist if you have insomnia or if you're snoring a lot, because that could be impacting your rest, which also makes you eat more, which makes you feel worse, all of those things. So midlife is a big time for checking in on sleep apnea. So check that out. Number 28, take a gentle stretching or yoga class. You can again do this on YouTube or another social media platform so that you don't have to join a class if you don't want to go and try that in front of others and you just want to try it for 10 minutes. Just do that. Like, try something new that's going to be relaxing or stretching, that's focused on stress relief. I can tell you that when I go and I go out and I'll either exercise at the gym, or I'll take a walk, or I'll play pickleball, and I come back feeling completely different. It doesn't matter what stress I just experienced. I can come back and feel amazing. Hey, McPlay GT. Thank you. Good to see you. Hey, his McPlay GT song just dropped, I think, today. Way to go. Check it out if you can. Hey, yeah, I have 300 followers. Thank you. McPlay GT is my mentor, by the way. He's 21 and I'm a Gen Xer, and he taught me how to get on TikTok. So I have a big thanks to you, McPlay GT. I'm at 300 followers now, and you've helped me so much. So thank you. But definitely check out his new music because it dropped today. So anyway, let's carry on here. So number 29, do a 1 week no multitasking with meals. I don't know, like, I'm like speechless with this because how many people do you know, I'm going to count myself, that uses tech while I eat? I mean, come on, I got to stop doing that. Just try it you know what? I'm going to do that today. I am not going to allow myself any tech while I eat. No multitasking with meals. Done. No screens. I'm going to try that today. I hope somebody else will too. Number 30. Hello, good to see you. Book an appointment that you have been avoiding. The dentist. Everybody avoids the dentist. Eye exams. Everybody avoids those. Anything that you need to go do it. Make that appointment now. A lot of people have breaks. Get it in before the end of the year. Just go do it. I know that I just booked all of mine. I don't love doing it, but I'm doing it. And if you have deductibles, you get the benefit of getting in before the end of the year when your deductible kicks back in the beginning of the year. So do that before the end of December. Another big thing is to reconnect with people in community. So reconnect with an old friend from a decade or two ago and schedule a call, schedule a coffee, schedule something to get together with that person. because what you need to do when you're thinking of reconnecting is that it's not for the now necessarily, it's for the future. When we put off our connections, it makes it so that we are at risk for loneliness, other issues. So you're really protecting your future. Number 32, plan a small, low pressure gathering, like simple things. Like it could be a board game, it could be potluck dinner or coffee meetup. But I know that I have always loved to do like a Friday night dinner where people will bring potluck to my house and we all hang out for the evening and enjoy the time. I did that when my kids were younger. So it would be kids at the house and adults at the house. Now that the kids are gone, it's not as frequent, and I have to get back to doing that because there's nothing better than starting off the weekend, having a small get together, and it's not like it's not a hardship when you're doing a potluck. When people are everybody brings a dish. So you can do that just with a couple people, or you can do that with a bigger group. Number 33, start a check-in group chat where you share your wins and struggles. Pick a few friends and make a group chat. You can do that in WhatsApp or whatever app you want. But having that check-in where you share your wins and struggles, it doesn't feel good usually to share a win publicly because everybody is so hung up on being humble that it feels like, how can you really do that? But you can do that in a smaller group with people that you say, I want to make this my sharing wins and struggles group. And you do that and people know to applaud each other. And that if you are expressing your win, that's a good thing. Number 34, volunteer for one event with anything. I know that you don't have to volunteer all the time, every day, every week, every month. I just did the Thanksgiving turkey drive right before Thanksgiving. It felt great. They're having another coat drive today, which I can't make, but I would have liked that. But pick something. Maybe you just do it once a year, but get yourself out for one event that supports something that you think is important, something that you like. It's going to make you feel better. Number 35, join a hobby group. You can join a book club. I know that a lot of people form book clubs and they're not even reading the books. They're just doing it for the group experience. So, but you could, if you like reading, you can go join a book club. It can be any kind of a group that you want to do that with. Hiking group, maker space. I know that a lot of libraries have maker spaces, so you could find that there. But look also at the adult ed. There's a lot of stuff going on that you may not know about. Number 36, ask someone you admire at work or in your community how they navigated their own midlife changes. So nobody talks about this stuff. Most people, they keep all of this stuff to themselves. And then everybody says, oh my gosh, am I going crazy? I have these feelings like what's happening with me? And then it turns out that all their other friends are experiencing it also. So, really, if you can, ask others about what their midlife experience is or whatever time period you're in. Number 37, have a direct conversation with family about redistributing caregiving or household labor if it's overwhelming you. There's so many people that are caregivers. It often falls to one person in the family, and having a conversation, not where you're saying, hey, you don't do anything, but saying, hey, can we redistribute this a little bit? It's super helpful. I know our family does that. And it makes everybody feel much better because nobody is holding resentment for anybody else. It's very helpful. Number 38, initiate a weekly walk and talk with a neighbor. You can even put this on if you don't have a neighborhood chat, you can just reach out to neighbors or other people that you know and say, anybody want to walk? It's a great way to meet your neighbors. It's a great way to, get your exercise in. You get a sort of 2-for-1 with that. Number 39, attend one local lecture, meetup, or workshop related to something that you're curious about. That can be online. They have so many free Zoom events that you can do, online events, for anything that you're curious about. These things can be really helpful for getting you to be inspired to do something new. Number 40, practice one small act of kindness each day. I talk about this all the time. I call it the one to one to one. I think other people have also talked about this. But that's doing one act of kindness to one person on one day. And you could do this every day. And it could be holding the door open for somebody. It could be smiling at somebody. It could be giving somebody a nice comment. It's every time, like Nellie on here gives me the heart, that likes this. It's every time that somebody gives a gift on here that does something like that. That is all you need to do. So every time you're giving out one of those diamonds to somebody, that is it. Count it. You did it. They don't have to be big. A lot of people get overwhelmed by practicing an act of kindness and they think it has to be big, and it doesn't. It can be just something small, but it means a lot to the other person. So complimenting somebody, all of those things count. So explore creativity and play. This is important. Number 41, revisit one creative hobby that you abandoned. We've all abandoned something. Go back to it. Schedule an hour for it. Number 42, take a beginner online class in something. I did this with AI. I couldn't believe how I got so into it. I was enmeshed in it, but do this for anything. I know people who want to do improv, they want to do comedy, do it for writing, anything. Just join a beginner online class and do it. Number 43, start a simple creative project box. So where you keep the materials ready to use for a 15-minute burst. So some people like to crochet. They keep the stuff on the ready for if they want to do that. If they have, they're into woodworking, they'll keep it around so that if they wanted to just do a 15-minute burst of creativity, they can do it. You could even have it be a puzzle, whatever you want it to be. Take it out for a 15-minute burst. Number 44, write a short story or essay about your most ridiculous midlife moment and share it with a friend. You could do this as a blog. This could be on Substack. It's free. Or you can keep it for yourself. Number 45, try a new to you genre of music or art and notice how it affects your mood. Just go on Spotify or go on YouTube or go someplace and try one new form of music. I can't tell you how I have been impacted by that when I check out new music. It's kind of cool. It really does change your whole mood. Number 46, create a playlist that captures who you feel you are now, not just when you were younger. So make a new playlist. Number 47, start a small, just for fun blog or newsletter about any topic that you care about. You're going to find all kinds of other people who care about the same thing you do. And you're going to be surprised that you find these people, because it can feel very alone when you don't have that community already. Number 48, try a simple DIY project at home. Plant something in a container, repaint a room, build a shelf, whatever you want to do. Number 49, join an online challenge. They have so many online challenges and you can join one of them. 50, create a before 60 bucket list of 20 small adventures you want to experience. If you're over 60, make it 10 years later, but make a before, give a number, a list of 20 small realistic adventures that you want to experience. Don't make it things that are impossible to accomplish. Make it things that are actually doable. So we've hit the halfway mark here. I hope you're finding some that resonate with you. This list is not to be one where you say, oh, I have to do all of these. It's just to give you a taste of 100 different things that you could do if you're feeling midlife is feeling more like a crisis than an oasis. So my name is Deborah Heiser. I'm an applied developmental psychologist. I have been in the field of midlife and aging since the 90s, and I wrote The Mentorship Edge. Some people got to meet my mentor a couple of minutes ago, McPlay GT. He's the guy that got me on TikTok, and he's 21. I have a mentor who's 21, And I have been on here. I'm loving it. I'm having a great time because I get to talk about and meet people that have the same sort of feelings of, trying to connect for good. And I'm finding that there are a lot of people who are into that. So I encourage, so anyway, here I am. If you have questions, feel free to ask me. I'm always happy to try to answer them. And if you want to check out my videos, some of them talk about mentorship, midlife, and some of those things. So anyway, I'm glad to be connected here with everybody. So 51, list what you like, tolerate, and dislike about your current work to see what truly needs to change. So most of us fixate on one sort of thing, and oftentimes it's the stuff we don't like. But list out what you like, what you tolerate, and what you dislike about your current work, because you can usually tweak within that to find that you can move things or shift them from dislike to maybe tolerate, and maybe from tolerate to like. You might be able to shift things around. Number 52, book a session with a financial planner. Nobody loves to hear this, but this is something that everybody should do to understand your real numbers instead of imagining worst case scenarios. So many people imagine all the financial hardship that they're going to encounter later in life, and they freak themselves out. And if you meet with a financial planner, if you aren't surprised pleasantly about how you're actually doing better than you thought, you can make a plan so it will be okay. Number 53, talk to somebody in a career that you are curious about and ask them how they actually spend their days. Number 54, update your resume on LinkedIn to reflect who you are now and what you want next. Number 55, take a short skills assessment or strengths inventory to identify talents you might be underusing. Number 56, design a test drive of a possible new direction. So maybe you want to try something new, like a volunteer role or a freelance project of something that you enjoy, or you want to take a class. Try that out. This is a good time to do that. It's just a test drive. Set a 90-day work experiment goal. So maybe you're delegating one task to somebody, asking for feedback from someone, learning a new tool. So try something new at work that can help you to maybe get out of a rut or see things a little bit differently. Number 58, create a simple spending review to see where your money actually goes and choose one area to adjust. Number 59, start a small side project that excites you. Maybe that's a newsletter, maybe that's a course, maybe that's local service, whatever it is. Number 60, identify one boundary you need at work. So maybe that's you don't answer emails on the weekend. Maybe you don't answer emails in the evening. Maybe you are not available 24/7, and communicate that clearly. You could say, I'm not answering emails on weekends. You can even put that as your signature in emails. I will be getting back to you on Monday. Something like that that's helpful. Now talking about like building daily structure and experiments, we're at 61. Create a simple morning routine with 3 repeatable steps. Just 3 things. You're probably already doing it, but acknowledge it if you are. So that might be drinking a glass of water. Most people think that's crazy. That's nothing. But most people don't drink a glass of water in the morning. Movement. Do you move at all? And intention setting. These are just some ideas. You can make any you want. I make coffee part of my morning routine. Lots of other people do too. So whatever those 3 things that you have as your simple morning routine, put those in there, because having a repeatable morning is very helpful to people to feel like they can look forward to something and to set the tone for the day. Number 62, create an evening wind down ritual that helps you detach from work and screens. 63, choose one weekly anchor activity that you do at the same time every week to give life a rhythm. So maybe that's an evening activity. Maybe that's something outside of work that you do every week that you can have as your anchor activity. Don't pick something you don't like to do. Pick something that you do like to do. Number 64, set a 30-day micro goal. Now, this could be that you're going to read 10 minutes. Maybe you don't like reading, but you're going to start reading for 10 minutes. Give yourself a micro goal. Maybe you're going to do 10 minutes of mindfulness, or you're going to do just a tiny little something. But set a 30-day micro goal and see if you can do that. Number 65, pick one day each week to plan meals or activities that support your health and mood. Number 66, try a theme day experiment. That could be like a Sunday reset. Every Sunday, you're going to do something. I know some people use Sunday as the day that they're going to prep their meals for the week. Maybe it's Taco Tuesday night. Maybe it's Thursday friend check-ins, whatever you want it to be. Number 67, use a simple habit tracker to mark off 1 or 2 behaviors you want to reinforce. Maybe there's something that you want to do more of, but it's hard for you to do it. So just use a simple habit tracker to mark 1 or 2 behaviors that you want to reinforce. I keep like a notebook here, and I'm able to add in the things that I want. It helps me to track that I'm doing things. I put my steps in there and other things that they're not work related, but I put them in there as a tracker, and it's easy enough to do. 68, remove one physical clutter hotspot in your home that stresses you out. Easy enough. Like pick one drawer. You don't have to pick a room. Just pick a pile that's sitting somewhere and work on that. That's it. Put a Post-it reminder in a visible spot with one grounding phrase that calms you. So pick a phrase that calms you, whatever it is, and put that on a Post-it note somewhere that you're going to see it. That way it'll be helpful to you. Number 70, implement a no major decisions in the middle of a meltdown rule. How many times have you made an impulsive decision in the middle of when you were all freaked out about something? Make yourself a rule that you may wait 24 hours before big changes. So let's move to shift mindset and self-talk. This one is very helpful. Number 71, replace midlife crisis in your language with midlife pivot. Because midlife is full of pivots. All of our life really is full of pivots, but we often look at them. We look at transition as passive. We look at midlife as a crisis, but it's not. We can look at our whole lives as challenge or a pivot, and a pivot really is an opportunity. We're choosing to do that. It's a positive word. So if you put yourself in that position where you are able to just shift what you say in your language, it's going to help you to shift how you feel. So your midlife is a time for pivot. It's a time for reset. Number 72, notice one negative self-judgment each day and rewrite it as if you were talking to a close friend. So we all do that. How often have you given a negative self-judgment about anything? Any overthinkers out there are going to be like, yeah, I do it all the time. Just notice one negative self-judgment each day and rewrite it so that you're not judging yourself. Number 73, create a list of 10 things you appreciate about your current self that did not exist when you were younger. What do you do now? I can say I'm a much different person than when I was a teenager. I'm way more like patient. I had a lot of things that I wasn't as a teenager. And so if you just think back to when you were a teenager and you can see yourself that, how different you are. Hey, thanks, dude, from Iowa. I appreciate you. Oh, wait, hold on. I see a comment here. The key is to have something in the future to keep your mind occupied. For sure. Absolutely. You're so right about that. We all need to have the feeling of hope for the future, right? Something to latch on to. It's purpose. And that's what we all need. Every single one of us. You're so right. Number 74, practice 1-minute breathing exercises when you feel overwhelmed. This is just a slow inhale and a slow exhale. Just ground yourself. Number 75, make a comparison detox by unfollowing accounts that trigger envy or inadequacy. If you are on social media and you are going for all that trigger bait, right? All the stuff that you feel triggered by, and you just go down that rabbit hole, really try unfollowing anybody that, is trigger bait for you, because it's just not good for you. And there's no reason to go down there. A lot of us, compare ourselves to people, and we don't even want what they have, really. We're just going down a comparison, track that we don't need to be on. Number 76, use a mantra like, I'm allowed to change my mind at midlife, and repeat it daily. You do not have to be the same person you were. You can change your mind. You can do that in midlife. You can do that at any time, really. But a lot of times midlifers feel like, I've been doing this forever, or thinking this forever. I have to stick this way. No, you don't. Number 77, reframe regrets by noting what each taught you and how it changed your choices. Number 78, imagine your current situation as a chapter title rather than the whole story, and name that chapter. Let's see. Number 79, choose one role. Maybe that is your job title. Maybe that's parent. Maybe that's partner. And ask, what do I want this role to look like right now? Are you doing what you want it to look like? Are you engaged the way you want it to look like? Are you just going through the motions? Number 80, practice gratitude by writing down 3 specific things that went right each day, even if it was tiny. So 3 things that went right. It could be anything. Let's see. Number 81, offer to mentor someone younger in your profession or community for a set number of sessions. I'm going to say that this is a big one, and a lot of people get really excited by this once they start doing it. Number 82, ask a younger colleague what they wish older adults understood about their challenges. Number 83, record one story from your life, audio or video, that you want your kids, your friends, or your mentees to remember. I'm going to say this on top of that. If you do something like you can create, and I don't know what, I must have put it away. There's a book that I have that somebody in the family made. It was from all the pictures of my grandmother, and they made a book out of that. But having something that you can pass down is a big deal. You do not have to go through the effort of doing that. You do not have to pay money to do that. Start a blog. It's free. You can even do podcasting with that. You can do it video or with pictures or with words. You're going to really find that it's a time capsule for you, and you have that forever for your kids or your friends or your mentees. And it's a very powerful legacy tool. Number 84, start a wisdom notebook where you jot down lessons that you would want to pass on. Now, this is kind of cool because we're all much cooler and wiser than we think. And when you write these things down, it can then become little mantras for people later on that, you'll forget it if you don't write it down. Number 86, volunteer as a tutor, coach, or community mentor for youth or as early career adults. 87, create a family or personal tradition that starts this year, something small but meaningful. Maybe it's just a little small thing that you add to the year. 88, identify one cause you care about and commit to a specific recurring action. Maybe you donate every year for the same thing. Maybe you, volunteer the same time of year every year. Advocacy, maybe you advocate for something the same time every year. It doesn't have to be that you're doing it all the time, but make sure that it's a recurring action, because then you're going to feel more connected to it. Number 89, share openly with peers about your own midlife struggles to reduce stigma and isolation. I know so many people that open up and they're like, wow, I didn't know that anybody else felt like this. Number 90, make a legacy list of 5 ways you hope people will describe you and one step toward each. So a legacy list for you might be that you want people to feel a certain way about you. You want to make people feel a certain way. It could be anything. Emotional ones are really the easiest, because if there's like a fire or there's a flood, this never goes away. So or if somebody renames a bridge or a building, you're always still connected to how you make a person feel. So we should also be trying new experiences and taking gentle risks. And I say gentle risks because we don't need to go and do wild and crazy things, just a gentle risk. So number 91, we're at the final 10. Visit a nearby place that you have never explored. This could be a park, a museum, a cafe, a neighborhood. You could say, I'm going to go hit all of the museums in the area. Most have a day that's even free that they offer, or I'm going to go to every park in my neighborhood or area. You don't have to travel the world. You can check out a new neighborhood, take a new street as you're driving home, something like that. Number 92, travel solo for a day trip or overnight to reset your perspective. Number 93, sign up for a workshop or retreat focused on whatever you want it to be focused on. Number 94, say yes to one invitation you would normally decline out of habit. Push yourself into something new. Number 95, practice saying no to one obligation that drains you without over-explaining. You don't have to tell anybody anything, just say no. But say it politely. You could say, thank you, I have an obligation. But say no to things that you really don't want to do. Number 96, try a new way of expressing yourself. Maybe you want to go a little different style in your clothing. Maybe you want to change your hair. Maybe you want to do a personal space refresh. It could be something simple like that. Number 97, take a class or lesson in something physical that you've never tried. Maybe you do something that you have seen other people do, but you haven't. Maybe you try, Tai Chi or kayaking or rock climbing or dance, whatever. There's all kinds, like there's a whole new line dancing trend that's happening. You could go do whatever you want to do. Number 98, we're coming up to the end. Number 98, explore a spiritual or philosophical practice that interests you. Some people feel like they're too old or it's too late or they should have been doing it all their life. Midlife's a great time to do this. This could be meditation. It could be reading. It could be a discussion circle, whatever you want it to be. Number 99, do one micro adventure. Maybe it's a sunset drive, a city walk, a new restaurant. Do this once a week, one micro adventure. And number 100, choose one change from this list and commit to it for 30 days. Treat it like an experiment, not like if you don't do it, that you somehow failed, or that it's a permanent decision, but treat it as an experiment. So I have just listed off 100 things that can help to reset the thought of being in a midlife crisis to being midlife pivot or midlife reset. Because a lot of people feel the midlife is a crisis, but it's an opportunity for us to change some of the things that we want to change. It's an opportunity for us to try things that we have never tried and want to try. And it's a time for us to get rid of all the stuff that we feel we have been doing that we haven't wanted to be doing, that isn't in alignment with where we are now. So I hope this is helpful. Feel free to follow me or subscribe. Check out the videos that I have. If you have questions, send me a message. And if you have suggestions for more things that you'd like to hear about, I try to go live every day at about 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So if there's something you want me to talk about, I'd love to hear about it so I can. Anyway, my name is Deborah Heiser. I'm an applied developmental psychologist. I've been working in the field of midlife and aging since the 1990s, and I'm also the author of The Mentorship Edge. I was founder and CEO of the Mentor Project for 8 years, and so anyway, it was great to be on here today. Thank you so much for being on.